Sometimes, when creating and simply being, we focus too much on what we can see. What we make is scrutinized and taken apart again and again. Now you have no choice but to feel. Feel the words and shape them to what you experience. You have clay in front of you. Listen and shape accordingly. Start when I say start. Stop when I say stop. Start now. Have you ever wanted to fly? There are means the modern man has constructed, plastic wings and metal harnesses, almost enough, but never enough. You decide as a child that one day you will do what no one could. You take to the monkey bars or trees, the top of a roof maybe, and you pray that silent prayer that your leap will not end in sadness and despair, that you were a bird all along, and that you have simply sat on your haunches a bit too long. So, you take a breath, you take a leap, and you are sprawled about on the ground with either a broken bone or spirit, probably both. You dream in the hospital about what color the sky really is, a secret that only the birds know. And you breathe in the clouds that your teacher tells you are only water vapor. You fell into one, you know, when you were born, on your way down, and now you must accept that your descent will never lead to an upward climb again. So you go into a plane once or twice. You touch the window pane lovingly, watching as the metal wings pierce the fluffy matter. Or maybe you realize you weren't meant to fly and retch in the toilet. You try to unclog your ears in vain, only to realize that fallen angels have never had this problem. You're an arthropod baking in the sun, and your creepy crawly limbs all seem to have failed you. Stop. You will now be given another block of clay. You may not remove the blindfold. You may not indulge for even a moment. Take a breath. Cleanse yourself of the thoughts and feelings you had, and let them dissipate. We must move on. Take the new clay in your hands and breathe. Start now. There was someone old by the bay once. He reeked of fast food meals and grocery store checkouts. You lower your eyes as smiles are for those who have meaning. You're not sure when you have decided that, and who taught you, but it serves you true, and they do not disturb you, or anyone else for that matter. Their hands writhe between each other into a frantic dance you are sure you have seen before. Maybe they need medication. Maybe they had one too many free coffees. Maybe they simply play with whatever is at hand, which in this case is nothing but themselves. You want to put a few quarters in those writhing hands, to see if they can handle the weight. But they seem too fragile, and you are too fragile too. So you step back and pretend your gasp was merely the beginning of a tune you were humming. The old person looks at you with eyes that have seen and not seen the world. Maybe they were a college professor of some odd major that no one really gets a job for. You imagine an entomologist, because those hands remind you of the fluttering wings of something light and clueless. You wrench out your hands as if to prove you have nothing to give, and the old entomologist simply turns his head away. You dream of mothballs that night. Stop. There are no mothballs in this room, I assure you. Cleanse your thoughts again and put your latest creation down for now. You will get it back. Don't worry. It is not left you just yet. Stretch your fingers and hands. You are nearly there. Do not remove the blindfold. You have clay in front of you. Start now. There had never been anything that you have ever stolen that has been worth stealing. This is a creed. Remember it and live by it. You have never stolen anything to eat or drink or to play with. You have not. This is what you must believe, because it is true. You say this when there is that one thing left over, when the school year has come and gone. It sits there. You know whoever owned it may or may not come back, but you shoot for the latter. It is smooth as porcelain underneath your fingertips, and you take that as a reason enough to keep it. It is much too valuable to leave here unattended, where the janitors will surely throw it away. No, you will keep it safe, and if the owner sees you with it, think of how good a Samaritan you were. To find this thing gone missing in a classroom no one will bother to return to. The leftover pollen brushes over you as you ride outside. They say riding outside builds character. You are, maybe, possibly hoping that the owner of that object does not drop by, as you are thoroughly enjoying yourself. You chew on something your mother had left on the counter. It had been a part of her lunch, you know, but she won't be back from her shift or job or whatever until much, much later. So you take it as your snack, and she won't miss it at all because she always shares. You sit on the ground that you may or may not have a cultural connection to. Maybe your ancestors lived there. Maybe your ancestors stole from those who did. Maybe your ancestors labored and worked here, but you doubt any of them could write and eat those not stolen things. Now that would be silly. Stop. What do you think you have created? What do you think you have not? Do you not think this will be a satisfying reveal? There is little better in life than a satisfying reveal. Open your eyes and forget. Take heed of your creations and appreciate what they mean, what your story means. Remove the blindfold. Go in peace and pieces.